Some men think they're blocked from polygamy because of money. Some blame society. Some blame their wife. But after years of coaching high-performing men, I've learned something uncomfortable. Most men are not blocked by wife number two, if you will. They're blocked by what's already sleeping next to them. And if that offends you, good. Because today, I'm going to show you why many men are not ready for expansion through polygyny. Because they never diagnosed what they already tolerate. Warning, what you're about to hear may challenge your beliefs, confront your excuses, and expose where your frame may be weak. Good. Because comfort doesn't build leaders. Truth doesn't follow trends. And legacy was never meant for the crowd. Our content is made for men and women who value truth over trends, structure and substance over style, and legacy over likes. If that speaks to you, welcome to Outstanding Personal Relationships. I'm Coach Nazir. Let's get it. Now, you might be wondering, who is this guy? What is he talking about? Where you come from? I get it, fair question. Look, my name is Coach Nazir. I'm one of the founders of Outstanding Personal Relationships and one of the authors of the book, Let's Talk Polygamy Uncensored, that I wrote with my wives. I've been married for 31 years, practicing polygyny for 16 of them. I'm a father of 10, including 2 bonus children. I work with high-performing men and women who desire to practice polygyny with clarity, confidence, and courage, without feeling dismissed, disrespected, or defeated, using our proven frame system. So, assalamu alaikum, peace. What I'm about to share with you is not theory, it's patterns. And patterns do not lie. Remember that. Put in your notes if you're taking notes. Remember, trust a short pencil over a long memory. So let me say this very carefully. This is not about attacking your wife. This is not about blaming women. This is simply about leadership. Because one of the hardest truths a man will ever face is realizing that he's normalized dysfunction. Not necessarily because he's weak, but because he got comfortable. And comfortable men often call dysfunction marriage. That's where they tolerate suffering. So blind spot number 1, you tolerate disrespect. Let's really start here. See, when was the last time your wife corrected you in front of your children or your family or your friends or your team? All right, when was the last time she rolled her eyes at you or mocked your vision? All right, or dismissed your leadership, just disobeyed what you were saying. Or and you maybe just laughed it off, right? That's really called tolerance. Think about that. See, I worked with a client. He owned multiple properties, sharp brother, disciplined. All right, he was respected by many people, especially in business. But he said that when you have dinner, his wife just constantly interrupted him when he's sharing stuff, corrected him or finished his sentences, kind of mocked his stories. And I'm asking, like, I just interrupted, and I know his son. I said, when did your son stop asking your permission? He got quiet because he knew when children stop respecting their father, somebody usually trained them in that. Now, blind spot number 2, disrespecting boundaries. Now, many men don't have boundaries to begin with, but they negotiate them, all right? Some men don't lead them regardless. Example, can I just have some quiet? Or can you just speak respectfully, just hush for a second? Is it okay if I go train? Would it bother you if I kind of invested in myself? Bro, listen. Standards are not requests. Standards are simply standards. So another example. One client called me and he wanted to expand his family. He wanted to get married again in polygyny. He wanted to marry a second wife, or we call it an incoming wife. Now, he told me he desired legacy, and he wanted to do it, again, through expanding his family. He wanted to have more children in particular. So I asked him, what time do your kids go to bed? He was like, whenever my wife chooses. She raises and decides that. So I asked, okay, are you really ready for multiple households? If you can't lead one environment, expansion only multiplies confusion. If what I'm saying is hitting harder than expected, there's a reason. See, most men were never taught how to introduce difficult conversations, especially about polygyny, without collapsing emotionally, over-explaining, falling prey to the tears, and losing control of frame. That's exactly why I created the Forbidden Conversation Playbook. how men of value introduce polygyny without losing respect, their families, or their frame. So you can learn step by step how to lead hard conversations, handle emotional reactions, including yours, maintaining respect, and stop feeling dismissed, disrespected, or defeated. If that's where you are right now, go to polygamybooks.com, or the link is wherever on this page. Now, back to what I was talking about. So about blind spot number 3, you fear hurt emotions. This one is huge, really huge. See, many men don't fear divorce. They fear tears. They fear the silence, coldness. They fear being considered the enemy or the bad guy. So what they do about it? They over-explain, they apologize, retreat, or avoid, or delay. I did that, right? But every time you abandon the truth to just simply avoid discomfort, you train people not to follow your leadership, especially your wife. So another example, client said, "Coach, I know what I need to say, I just hate how she reacts." So I asked them, are you leading your home or just managing her emotions? Your home is supposed to be that safe place. That's supposed to be your castle. That's supposed to be a place where you can be you and authentic and come to the one that you comfort and provides you comfort. Blind spot number 4, you confuse loyalty with health. Now look, this one hurts. This can really sting. So as an example, your wife, she's been with you. She's had your children. She stood beside you in challenging times. So you assume, look, she's healthy. Nah. Understand this, history does not equate maturity. Length does not denote strength. Loyalty is not leadership. Look, one brother told me, he said, "Coach Nazir, I've been married to her for 18 years. So I asked him, has she grown for 18 years? Or has she repeated year 1 18 times? See, time together does not automatically create maturity. Now, if you made it this far in the video, I want to ask you a quick question. If this video has forced you to tell yourself the truth, if you ever confuse tolerance for leadership, drop this in the comments. Exposure reveals everything. That tells me you're not here for fantasy, you're here for truth. Now, what polygyny exposes? So let me tell you what it does. See, polygyny exposes existing disrespect, existing manipulation, existing insecurity, existing weak boundaries, existing avoidance, and existing control. So when a man generally says, "Polygyny ruined my marriage," I usually ask, or did it really reveal or expose your marriage? See, one brother blamed polygyny. He said, "Everything changed when I brought it up." After digging a little bit deeper, his wife had been correcting him publicly, running finances emotionally, undermining him with the children, threatening divorce for 12 years. And I had to say, look, man, polygyny didn't create this. It simply exposed it. So what do strong men do, Coach Nazir? I know you weren't there, right? They don't blame, rage, hide, avoid, cheat, just fantasize about it. All right? They focus on frame, focus on being fearless, reliable, ambitious, masculine, and exceptional. Weak men simply escape. Strong men diagnose. So hear me carefully. Maybe you're ready for an additional wife. Maybe you're not. But one thing I do know, some men do not need another wife. They just simply want it. They need a better diagnosis for wife number 1. So if you're serious, if you're a husband, if you're an initial wife or an incoming wife, future wife, right? And you want to know exactly where you or your spouse may fall on the spectrum, start with the OPR Spectrum Diagnostic. That link is probably below or in one of the first comments or whatnot, or just go to polygamyquiz.com. Now, that is extremely important if you're serious and proactive versus just being curious or here for entertainment. With that being said, put in the comments if you made it this far and you recognize what we do and you represent. Exposure reveals everything because patterns do not lie. And I want you to be outstanding, because being average, who tells their child or anybody really strive for being average? Listen, my mentor told me, Average is nothing but the top of the bottom or the bottom of the top. I want you to be outstanding. With that being said, Assalamu alaikum. Peace.